Alright guys, back for another video today. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-defense for children. This is my son Micah. Say hi, Micah.
Hi.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about how kids can protect themselves from adult attacks. Now this isn't 100% fail-safe, but what it does is it gives them a slight bit of a chance so they don't just get dragged away. So typically what happens in a situation where a child is being grabbed or being attacked, what happens is the adult or whoever it is that's trying to kidnap them grabs them, right, and drags them along, right? So what we want to do is work on a little bit of balance, right? Because typically, here, we'll kind of demonstrate for you. So what happens typically is when someone grabs a child, right? This is one of the worst situations that's ever known to happen, right? When someone grabs a child, they're doing this whole thing. They're maybe looking around a little bit. What they're trying to do is try to get that child to their vehicle or to wherever they're trying to go to. Okay, so that's obviously a horrifying situation, and we don't wish that upon anybody. But you hear about kidnappings and situations all the time where kids get grabbed, kidnapped, and then you just hear the most horrific situations, okay? So, what I teach my son, and this is something that the Budo brothers actually teach in self-defense when it comes to a child, right? Especially a smaller child. Micah, how old are you?
8.
Okay, so Micah's 8 years old, okay? So he doesn't have man strength yet, okay? Which means he isn't a teenager, he's not 12. So his chances of being able to get away from someone who's a kidnapper are pretty low. But there's one thing, if you drill it into your kid's brain, right, there might be an opportunity for them to get away, okay? So obviously situational awareness, you tell your kids all the time, hey, don't go walk around with strangers. You hear about those horror stories, guys, right? Just horrific stories. So you send your kids out in packs, right? Don't send them out by themselves and let them wander around the neighborhood. Those are some of the most simple things. But in situations where your child's on their lawn and they're playing and someone pulls up and gets out of their car and tries to grab them, one of the best techniques is for them to be able to reach and lock themselves around your legs. You're going to grab the kid by the wrist. What your child's going to do is going to reach down and lock himself right around and exactly what he's going to do. Okay? In this situation, what you're going to do is you're going to give me a death grip. So grab me as hard as you possibly can. So grab me as hard as you possibly can. Boom. Like that. Now, one thing I will caution your child. So what we're going to do, so sit down. All right, wrap your legs around my thing. So what I'm going to tell them to do is to wrap their legs all the way around. So you guys can be able to see exactly how we're doing it here. He's going to wrap his legs around and he's going to lock it, death grip, because I'm still going to be grabbing his wrist. So you're going to grab and you're going to hold on as tightly as you possibly can, right? As tightly as you possibly can, and you're going to scream for help.
Help! Help!
Exactly, like that. Okay, so once again, we're going to demonstrate one last time. All right, so Micah, I'm going to grab your hand, and you're going to do exactly as I teach you, okay? So
yes,
I'm going to grab you.
Help!
Okay, so right there, go ahead and let go. So that grip is pretty tight, guys. It's a pretty tight grip, okay? It is better. All right, lay down your stomach. Typically what happens is when they're dragging a child, the child loses balance and it gets dragged along the ground, okay? What you don't want to happen is that you don't want that to happen. So what you're going to want your kid to do is he may have to leap. So go ahead and do a leaping and then just lock around my leg. Like that. Go ahead, do it again. Boom.
Help!
Not like that. Because he's going to be trying to pull your child either towards his vehicle or towards it, wherever he's trying to get your child to go to. Okay, so we're going to demonstrate one last time. Okay, grab him. Ooh. Go ahead, do it again. Boom.
Help! Help!
And that'll be that situation. Obviously, he's going to yell a lot louder than that. It's just a training video, so he's getting used to the fact of something like that, a situation like that happens, right? I've worked on this with his brother and sister, and it's really important, okay, to yell for help, obviously scream for help, but in that situation, right, your child only has about 10 to 15 seconds of critical, like, I can't just let this guy take me, right? So once again, this is just something that you train, you work with your kids on. You do it all the time. I teach them how to box. I teach them how to, how to throw down, right? And it's not to hurt people. It's to protect themselves against someone who's bigger than them. Now, when it comes to an adult, that's much more difficult because typically adults just grab the wrist, right? The extension of the hand, right? They grab the extension of the hand and then they go, and they're more locked onto that. Well, when that child reaches and locks his foot around
Help!
that right there, he's not expecting that, and that is better. Okay, you're good. That is better than him just being dragged along the ground on his belly. Okay, so that's just my quick tip for you guys when it comes to child self-defense. So hopefully you guys learned something. And so this is Micah. I know it's a little hard to see with the camera light in the background, but it's really, really important that you teach your kids how to be aware and know what's going on around them, because there's too many things out there in the world that are happening, and kids just are being taken, right? And this doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, everybody's like, well, what could we have done to prevent this? Well, you teach them at least a couple tricks out there to where they're just not 100% defenseless. If they're 80%, right, defenseless, that's better than 100%, like where someone just reach up, grab them, and that's it. Donezo's, right? So that 80, 85%, a little bit of 15% drop in your child, just 100%, right? Because it's a grown man. So the chances of them getting away are really, really low. But if you can actually teach them a couple of tricks that they can learn, here's another one. So do you remember the other thing where you grab the wrist?
Yes.
Right? If I grab the wrist, where are you going to grab to pull away? Yep. And you're going to pull back. Okay, so once again, show you one last time. So I'm going to grab him very, very, very hard. I'm going to give him a vice grip. Okay, and he's going to pull his arm away. Okay. Now, I have grown man strength. Okay, I have grown man strength, which means I can grab him. I have a very good grip. I can death grip that wrist and squeeze it till his arm turns purple. He can still that's actually a way. If you turn your hand, you're actually able to get out slightly easier than just someone grabbing you and running off with you. Okay, so when they grab you, you can actually turn your wrist a little bit and pull it out. So we're going to show one more time. Okay, so I'm going to grab your wrist. All right. Okay, see? Not too bad. All right, so we're going to show it one more time just to show that it's not just a hoax. How about we're going to do two hands? We'll try to do two hands. See if you can get out of that. Okay, so that's just another little tip for you guys out there so that you guys know that certain things do work. Now, this isn't 100% fail-safe, but it's better than nothing. A lot of people just say, well, my kid gets taken, then I guess I don't know what else to do. No, don't settle for less. Actually, teach your kids a few things. This is a couple things that you can teach your kids in order to keep them from 100% just being taken. No defense, nothing. Okay, that's all I got for you guys today.
Make sure to subscribe and love you. Bye.
Bye.